On a chilly evening in the heart of the city, under a flickering street lamp, a teenage girl sat curled up on the cold concrete. Her clothes were worn and thin, barely enough to keep out the biting wind. Around her, the city buzzed with life, people rushing by, heads down, lost in their own worlds, but she was invisible to most, just another shadow in the night. In her trembling hands, she held a tiny, crumpled napkin and a stub of pencil she had found earlier that day. Her fingers moved carefully, sketching with quiet determination. The image taking shape was that of a man, his face strong and familiar, eyes full of stories. Johnny Depp. To her, he wasn't just a famous actor. He was a symbol of hope, of worlds beyond this harsh street, of dreams she barely dared to hold. The city was cold and unforgiving, but in this small act, something fragile and beautiful was born. The napkin wasn't just paper. It was a canvas for her talent, a whisper of who she was beneath the grime and hardship. No one knew this girl's story. No one saw her drawing with such care. But somewhere out there, a chain of events was about to begin, one that would change everything for her. A chance so rare it seemed impossible. In the midst of loneliness, the silent promise of hope flickered. A homeless teen, a simple drawing, and a man far away who would soon set off on a city-wide search. This was just the beginning. Her name was Mia, but most people on the streets didn't bother to learn it. She was 16 years old, though the years of hardship had made her look older. Mia's life hadn't always been this way. She used to have a home, a small apartment filled with memories of laughter and warmth. But everything changed when her parents fought and finally walked away from each other, leaving her alone in the world. Without family to turn to, Mia found herself on the streets, drifting from place to place, searching for shelter and food. The city was harsh, and people treated her like she was invisible, or worse, a problem to avoid. Sometimes she felt like she didn't belong anywhere. But through all the pain and loneliness, Mia had one thing that never left her: her love for drawing. From the moment she could hold a pencil, she had poured her heart onto paper. Drawing was her way to escape the cold, the hunger, and the endless nights. When she sketched, the world felt softer, kinder, like anything was possible. She carried a small notebook with her, pages worn and edges torn from constant use. Every free moment was spent creating faces, scenes, and stories she dreamed about. Sometimes she imagined her drawings coming alive, carrying her far away from the streets. Still, life on the streets was brutal. Some days, Mia went hungry. She shivered in the cold, clutching whatever warmth she could find. Strangers passed without a glance, and sometimes she was told to move along or faced harsh words. It was easy to feel lost, like no one saw her at all, but deep inside, Mia held on to a quiet hope. Not a wish for fame or fortune, just to be seen. To have someone notice her not as a homeless girl, but as Mia the artist. Someone who understood her dreams and believed in her talent. She dreamed of a day when her art could speak louder than her circumstances. When the world would stop for a moment and see the person behind the napkin sketches. It was a small hope, fragile but real, and it was enough to keep her drawing, even on the coldest nights. That evening, as the cold seeped deeper into her bones, Mia found herself sitting on the steps of a small cafe that had long since closed for the night. Her fingers were numb, but in her pocket she clutched a single scrap, a thin, worn napkin she had managed to save from a hurried meal days before. It was rough and creased, far from the smooth pages she usually used, but it was all she had. Beside her, the stub of a pencil, a gift from a kind passerby, felt like a treasure. The light from the flickering street lamp above cast long shadows, but Mia's eyes were focused, steady. She began to draw. Why Johnny Depp? It wasn't a random choice. For Mia, Johnny Depp was more than an actor. His movies were an escape from her reality, a gateway to worlds filled with adventure, mystery, and magic. When she watched him on screen, she saw a man who played characters who were misunderstood but brave. They fought against odds, just like she was trying to do. His face, with its sharp lines and soulful eyes, had become a symbol of hope in her quiet world. As she sketched, her hand moved carefully, almost reverently. Every line was drawn with intention. The curve of his cheek, the shadow under his eyes, the hint of a smile. Despite the rough surface of the napkin, Mia worked with patience and love, pouring all her longing and dreams into the tiny artwork. She wasn't just copying a photo, she was capturing something deeper. A feeling. The quiet strength that Johnny Depp seemed to carry on screen was the same strength Mia tried to find in herself every day. Each stroke was a silent prayer that maybe one day, someone would see the real person behind the drawing. The cold was biting, and her fingers trembled as the last lines came together. She looked down at the napkin and felt a flicker of pride, a rare moment where the world outside didn't feel so heavy. What now? Mia wondered. She folded the napkin carefully, as if it were a precious letter. She didn't know where this little piece of art would take her. Should she keep it? Should she show it to someone? She wasn't sure, but in that moment the drawing was a secret hope held close to her heart, a small light in the darkness. She tucked the napkin safely inside her jacket and wrapped her arms around herself. The city buzzed around her, indifferent as ever, but somewhere inside Mia, something had shifted. That simple napkin, drawn with worn pencil on rough paper, held a power she didn't yet understand. And this was just the beginning. At the same time Mia was sitting alone on the city steps, far away from the bright lights and crowded rooms. Johnny Depp was in the heart of the same city. He wasn't just passing through, he was here for work, filming a new movie that many people were already excited about. But unlike the glamorous life most imagined, Depp moved quietly, almost blending into the busy streets. He liked it that way sometimes, being part of the city's pulse without drawing too much attention. One afternoon, after a long day on set, Depp decided to step away from the noise and bright cameras. He wandered through a small park nearby, hoping for a few moments of peace. That's when fate began to weave its thread. A young woman sitting on a bench caught his eye. She looked nervous but excited, holding something folded carefully in her hands. Curious, Depp approached gently, noticing the worn edges of the napkin she held. "I heard you're looking for me," the woman said quietly. Depp was surprised. "I'm sorry." She smiled shyly and unfolded the napkin. There, in simple pencil strokes, was the unmistakable face of Johnny Depp. It wasn't just a picture, it was full of life, emotion and raw talent. The lines told a story of struggle and hope, of someone who had faced darkness but still found a way to create something beautiful. Depp took the napkin in his hands, his eyes tracing every detail. There was no fancy paper, no expensive materials, just a crumpled napkin and a pencil. Yet it was one of the most powerful drawings he had ever seen. "I found this at a shelter," the woman explained. "Someone left it there, hoping it might reach you." Depp felt a lump in his throat. This wasn't just a fan's tribute, it was a message. A voice from the shadows, calling out for recognition and kindness. He knew right then that he had to find the artist behind this drawing. Whoever they were, their story mattered. Back on the set, Depp couldn't focus. His mind kept returning to the napkin and the girl who had it. How many others like her were out there, hidden from the world? How many dreams were locked away because life had been too hard? He made a decision. Using his influence and resources, he would launch a search, a city-wide effort to find the homeless teen who had poured their soul into that simple sketch. News of the search spread quickly. Social media buzzed with the story of the homeless artist, whose talent had touched one of the biggest stars in the world. Volunteers, shelters and community members joined in, eager to help find the mysterious creator. But Depp knew this wasn't just about fame or a heartwarming headline. It was about shining a light on those often forgotten, giving a voice to those who had none. It was about hope, and so the search began, not just for an artist, but for a chance to change a life. Little did Depp know, the journey ahead would be filled with unexpected twists and challenges. But no matter what, he was determined to find the one behind the napkin. A story worth telling, waiting patiently in the shadows of the city. As soon as Johnny Depp decided to find the young artist behind the napkin drawing, things began to move fast. Using his influence, Depp shared the story on his social media accounts, posting pictures of the simple yet powerful sketch. He spoke openly about how deeply the art had touched him, and his message was clear. He wanted to find the person behind this gift, to help them and share their story with the world. The post quickly went viral. People from all over the city and beyond were captivated by the story of a homeless teen with such incredible talent. It wasn't just about Johnny Depp anymore. It was about hope, resilience, and the power of art to connect us all, no matter where we come from. News outlets picked up the story. Television stations ran segments about the search, sharing the Napkin sketch, and asking viewers to keep an eye out for the young artist. Newspapers printed articles about Mia's talent, though they didn't know her name yet, calling her the Napkin artist. Online forums buzzed with theories, sightings, and messages of encouragement. Local homeless shelters and community centers joined the effort. Volunteers handed out flyers with the sketch, visited areas where homeless youth often stayed, and talked to people, asking if anyone recognized the drawing or knew the artist. Shelters opened their doors wider, hoping to provide a safe place for Mia or others like her. Johnny Depp himself became involved in the search. He made surprise visits to shelters, spoke at fundraisers, and encouraged kindness toward homeless youth. His passion for finding the artist grew stronger each day, fueled by the hope that this search could change a life. Meanwhile, Mia remained unaware of the whirlwind her drawing had caused. She was still surviving day to day, facing the harsh reality of street life. The city was a cold and noisy place, and no one had told her that her art was being celebrated and searched for by thousands. She clung to her small world, careful and cautious, unsure if she could trust anyone. Even as posters with her sketch appeared in the places she visited, Mia didn't connect them to herself. The idea that someone like Johnny Depp was searching for her seemed impossible. She had long learned to keep her hopes guarded, to protect herself from disappointment. But the city around her was changing. People were looking with new eyes. Kind strangers offered warm meals and words of encouragement. Volunteers reached out with art supplies and invitations to workshops. Slowly, the world began to open just a little bit. The search wasn't just about finding one person anymore. It had become a movement. A reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness and recognition could make a difference. As the days passed, the city waited and hoped. The question on everyone's lips was the same. Would they find the homeless teen whose art had captured the heart of a star? Unbeknownst to them, Mia's life was about to cross paths with Johnny Depp's in a way no one expected. The moment was coming, a moment that would change everything. As the city-wide search for the homeless teen artist grew louder, the world outside Mia's small circle was filled with hope and excitement. But for Mia herself, life became even more complicated and scarier. Mia had always learned to be cautious. The streets were not kind to someone like her. She knew what it meant to be seen by the wrong people, the authorities who might push her away, the strangers who might take advantage of her fear. When she heard rumors of a famous actor searching for the girl who drew on a napkin, she felt a mix of confusion and worry. What if they found her? Could she trust them? Or would this attention only bring more trouble? So instead of stepping forward, Mia did what she knew best. She hid. She moved to different parts of the city, avoided places with too many people, and kept her head down. She folded the napkin tightly in her jacket pocket, the one piece of hope she still held on to, but now it felt heavier. Like a secret she wasn't sure she wanted to share. Meanwhile, the search itself was far from easy. Many false leads sent Depp and the volunteers on wild chases across the city. People came forward claiming to know the artist, or even to be the artist themselves. But time and again, the trail went cold. Each dead end added frustration and tension. The media buzzed with excitement one day, only to move on when nothing turned up the next. Johnny Depp faced his own challenges. Not everyone believed in the search. Some thought it was a publicity stunt. Others called it a waste of time. Skeptics questioned whether a homeless teen even existed, or if the whole story was just a fairy tale spun by desperate fans. But Depp didn't let the doubt stop him. He knew the drawing was real, and the feeling it gave him was real too. Still, even with his fame and resources, finding one lost teenager in a city of millions was like searching for a needle in a haystack. Back on the streets, Mia's days grew harder. The weather turned colder, and food became scarcer. The kindness of strangers was rare, and some days she felt completely alone. Her art, once a bright escape, was now a reminder of a dream slipping further away. She questioned if anyone would ever really see her for who she was, the girl behind the drawing, not just a face on a napkin. But even in the darkest moments, Mia didn't stop drawing. Sometimes, when the city lights blurred through tears, she would sketch quietly in the corner of a shelter, or on scraps of paper given to her by volunteers who didn't yet know her story. Drawing was her way of holding on to herself, when the world tried to push her down. Despite the setbacks, Depp kept pushing forward. He met with shelters, connected with social workers, and listened to the stories of other homeless youth. Each story strengthened his resolve to find the artist, and to help others like her. The city was filled with hope and disappointment, noise and silence. And somewhere, hidden in the shadows, Mia held on to her secret. A simple napkin drawing, that had sparked a search, a star's promise, and the possibility of a new beginning. But would that beginning ever come? Or was it just another dream lost to the streets? After weeks of searching, the moment finally came. Johnny Depp stood quietly in a small community center, surrounded by volunteers and social workers. They had received a tip, a sighting of a young girl matching Mia's description near a nearby shelter. Heart pounding with hope and nerves, Depp waited, knowing this could be the turning point. Then she walked in. Mia's eyes widened when she saw him. For a moment neither spoke. The room seemed to hold its breath. Here was a famous actor, someone from the world she had only seen in movies, standing before her. And here was Mia, the girl behind the napkin, the artist with a story of pain and hope. Slowly they began to talk. Mia shared her journey, the loss, the loneliness, the hunger for recognition. Depp listened with quiet respect, his own voice gentle as he spoke, about his struggles too, about feeling lost and misunderstood in his own way. They connected over art, dreams and the invisible battles both had fought. It wasn't just about the drawing anymore, it was about two souls finding understanding. Depp didn't offer empty promises or charity. Instead he offered Mia something far more valuable, support to grow, heal and reclaim her life. He arranged for art lessons, counseling and a safe place to stay. He made it clear this was just the beginning, a chance for Mia to rewrite her story. In that quiet room, under soft lights, hope blossomed. Mia's napkin drawing had done more than catch the eye of a star. It had opened a door to a future filled with possibility. This was a story about second chances, about seeing people beyond their circumstances, and about the power of kindness to change a life forever. And though the journey ahead would not be easy, Mia was no longer alone. A new chapter had begun. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Share it to spread the power of kindness and hope. Remember, no matter the struggles, talent shines bright, and never giving up can change a life forever. Thank you for watching.